welcome to Football United TV. I'm your host, Matt King, and I'm back with Eric. How you doing, man?
How's it going?
Good. So, yeah, we haven't caught up in a few weeks, and a lot's changed since then. What's your thoughts, especially on Chelsea actually getting that Champions League spot and Europa League Final?
As a Chelsea fan, I think that is literally the most ideal situation based on results that we had a little bit. I mean, we hit a little bit of slump about mid-season when we had a big striker crisis, and we had to play more of a 4-3-3 with Hazard playing a false nine. You have Willian and Pedro swapping in and out there, and I think it had a toll and an effect on um, us even being title contenders. I mean, once it happened, once Liverpool started to pull away, we just had to be realistic, and we had to. I think Sarri had to analyze. All right, what can we do? I mean, and he's done a fantastic job. I mean, yeah, that is literally the most ideal situation, is being in the final of the European competition that we were in, and then finishing third above Tottenham, to where we don't have to have a playoff battle starting off next season. Especially since we do have this 2 transfer window ban, man. That's the harsh reality of it, is that you've got all these low players coming back in, and which I'm excited about. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited about some of these players coming back, but it's definitely going to be rough 2 transfer windows. But with what we've got working, I think we've at least established ourselves to be able to still be considered one of the European giants up there.
I think so, yeah. And I definitely feel Sarri's escaped slaughter, isn't he? Because obviously everyone was thinking, get rid of him, go, and then suddenly now he looks like he's going to stay for another year, which, yeah, Absolutely. Are you happy about that?
I am. I mean, I had faith in Sarri. From the get-go. I mean, I actually followed Sarri ball when he was at Napoli. I mean, what he did in terms of the tactics and the terms of the things that he brought to the table at Napoli was incredible. The playing style, it works. It's a system that works. What's very hard about applying it and trying to get it to work in a year's time in England is that you're playing way more in England. You just have more competitions. You have more games during the year. So players are going to be more tired. It's a very demanding tactic where it involves a lot of running up and down the flanks, especially.
Yeah.
So that would wear down an aging Willian or an aging Pedro and a Hazard who plays just about every single game. You know what I mean? So you see it have an effect, and even trying to because what he did is he implemented putting Conte at more of an attacking role rather than a defensive role, which I didn't necessarily agree with at first. I thought that was kind of like, because Conte's such a defensive machine in terms of just this engine in the midfield. It didn't sit well with me when I first saw it, but then you see him getting in behind and getting a few goals on the goal sheets and actually being able to score because he's getting more confidence going into the attack. I started to understand, okay, maybe this guy knows what he's doing a little bit more than we thought. But it works, you know what I mean? And I think that over the next year, if he really stays maybe like 3 or 4 seasons, because if he does well next year, then we're gonna want him to stay again. If he repeats it again, if he gets his Champions League, I'm not expecting to win the title next year. Simple as that. We have a 2 transfer window ban. I already understand that.
You're kind of in the same mindset as me and Man United. I just know we're not going to win the Premier League next season.
You just have to accept And so if we settle with a Champions League spot, or we finish top 3, top 4, and we win, I would even say focus on like FA Cup and just get far in Champions League and just get your attention to draw some of these younger big name players in, then I think that we're in for something. And I with this transfer window open, I think that what we need to do is we need to try and do some swap deals. I think that's going to be the key, especially with this ban, is that if you want to have something rotating, you're going to have a swap deal or a buyback clause on some of these players that are possibly heading out the door.
So maybe, looking at the speculation about Hazard, do you think there could be possibly like a swap deal with that?
I don't think that that's going to happen, but in a perfect world, I would like that. In a perfect world, I would like, and this is just kind of like shooting for the stars, but I would take a James Rodriguez in exchange. James Rodriguez plus cash. I would take an Asensio plus cash. I would take an Isco plus cash. Even a straight, almost a straight Bale swap would be ideal for me. Just because we need quality. We're getting 110 million, and it's just gonna sit there. You know what I mean? Rather than we need something to be able to um to keep the squad fresh and keep that rotating and bring that nuance and that new quality into the side, because it's a rotating door at Chelsea. We're constantly bringing in new players, new managers.
Yeah.
It's like you never know when your last day is. You never know when you're gonna get the chopping block. And it doesn't. The thing is that's England. That's English football. Doesn't matter if you have a great season one year. If you have a a shit season the next season, then you're gonna get ripped into. You're gonna get benched. You're gonna get It's a demanding league. And so for me, I would like to see some of these players, bring in some new faces. I'm hoping some of the players that we have on loan to us right now stay along too. I like the likes of Kovacic, even though his first year there he didn't get on the goal sheet or didn't get on the scoring sheet. He has that grittiness and that aggression to be able to get forward and play. And he bagged himself quite a few assists this year. He did bag himself quite a few assists. I would like Higuain to stay. I think a lot of the fans like it. It's kind of sad, when you watch some of your friends booing the manager, and then one game and then praising him like he's the greatest thing ever. Supporters need to be more patient. I think that you're not gonna get the same Chelsea that you had back in 05, 06. You're not going to get even 09, 10. You're not going to have that. We don't have the likes of Drogba. We don't have the likes of Lampard. We don't have the likes of Terry. We don't have you know what I mean? We don't have that kind of squad depth right now.
You've got.
And so we need to be patient, and we need to set up a style of play and put players in who can develop in the league. I think that Higuain, I look at Willian, for example. I remember how much stick he got his first year in the Premier League. I specifically remember how much the fans just ripped him to him, said he wasn't consistent, said he had no touch, said they tore him apart. And then come the next season, he was one of our best players in the next 3 seasons for us. And it takes time in the Premier League. It's not something you're going to be able to get overnight. For example, with De Gea, for you guys, when De Gea first got to the Premier League, I remember the fans were like every fan base was ripping him into shreds, and now he's considered one of the best goal. I mean, at one point he was considered one of the best goalies in the world.
I remember the exact game that changed it as well. It was against Real Madrid at Bernabeu. And we was like, he's got to have a good game now. If he doesn't have a good game, like, he's never going to... And he just had a smasher. And since then, confidence, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That one great game, and then you can just carry that on some keepers for the rest of their career,
And I don't think that it's fair to justify Higuain as a bad striker, because that's the thing, especially at Chelsea Football Club. It is hard to fill in the boots of some of these strikers that have been there in the past years.
Completely legends.
I mean, you saw what happened. You saw what happened with Torres. You saw what happened with Morata. You see what happens like with Pato, Eto. None of these guys were able to keep the. We're not talking about Golden Boot winners. You know what I mean? And for me, I think that we we gave too much. I think we jumped to conclusions too fast on Morata. I think Morata is a player that he just you fall off form a little bit, and you have to wait because as soon as we loan him back out to Atletico, all of a sudden he starts putting the goals in the back of that. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of confidence. And Chelsea go, oh, we regret it. We want him back. We want him back. Well, you were ripping into him a little bit, and when I say it takes a village, it takes a village. So it can't be, yeah, yeah.
It's like it's amazing. Like when you think about Santi Cazorla this week and how he was pretty much told he wasn't going to probably be able to walk again, and now look, he's in the national Spanish squad, and Arsenal would probably want him right now. Like he's a national team player. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
You never know, do you? You never know.
It's unpredictable, and it's not like Morata was injury prone. It's not like, in my opinion, he just got unlucky. The quality of goalkeepers in the Premier League is a lot higher than it is in Spain. I'm just going to say that straight up. The quality that of goalkeepers and defenses, especially the physicality of the English game, is higher. Now the passing and the touch quality in Spain is same thing. It's that's where it flip flops. But in terms of some of these goalkeepers that you're going, like you look at a team like look, Leicester City has Schmeichel in goal. You know what I mean? And Leicester's not the greatest Premier League squad, but that's a quality goalkeeper. You've got
Pickford for Everton.
That's what I mean. An England national goalkeeper starting on Everton, like that's huge.
Hasn't done great for Everton though, has he? Recently, but obviously still got the.
Joe Hart on West Ham, you know what I mean? Like Joe Hart Joe Hart at one point was probably, in my opinion, one of the top 10 goalkeepers in the world. Arguably top 5 when he was at his peak at Manchester City.
Oh so yeah.
And he has his days every now.
He had that character, didn't he?
So it's like you have this expectation for this guy to come into a league and just go on a goal frenzy right off the back. And I think that is the biggest problem with some of the and I'm not saying there's a problem with the fan bases, but that's why you see some of these fan bases so upset. That's why Arsenal fans are constantly upset. They're just constantly. They're just so.
You watch AFTV then.
AFTV, and you hear them like, "Oh, we need this. We've been doing this, and there's not striking." And it's like, and they you see it, and it's just like, it's. And I think that nowadays they've kind of started to accept it. But I look at and it's no offense to you or anything, but United fans nowadays really do not. There's kind of this hope, this great hope that you're gonna have a Ferguson again, like within the, and you have to be patient. You simply have to be patient. You can't jump to this idea that because you go on a hot streak, because your players broke free from Mourinho said it best. He even said it. The egos on that team are out of the roof, but you get a little bit of spark, you can get a little bit of luck, and you go on a winning streak, and all of it. For Pete's sake, Robbie Di Matteo won the Champions League for us. You know what I mean? Like after we got rid of Andres Villas-Boas, that was the most magical year as a Chelsea fan for me that I've ever seen. And it has to do with about spark. It has to do with these players. So when you get really, really excited and you feel like it only goes so far, the luck runs out eventually. Obviously, it's just English football is changing. It is, and it's getting better too. Like you look at these finals. You look at the Europe. It's an all English final. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's getting better. I think that the likes of the introduction of Pep Guardiola, into the Premier League, I think he really, Klopp, the introduction of these kinds of managers,
Benitez.
absolutely, absolutely. Like you look at the introduction of these coaches and the style, it ups the competition. It just ups the competition because now you're talking about some of the best teams that the world's ever seen, kind of thing. I mean, I was watching that FA Cup final, and I said it's not fair. Like it's straight up, it just not
I
fair.
felt like that because I was rooting for Watford. You see, yeah,
Mhm.
I wasn't happy about it, man. I was like
It's like
so unfair.
it wasn't.
Money
You look at the
bags.
depth. You look at the depth of that team. They brought Kevin De Bruyne. They didn't even play Aguero. Like they didn't play Sergio Aguero, and still managed to win 6-0. You know what I mean? Like that to me, it shows. And Watford's a quality side. To get to the FA Cup final, you have to have some form of quality. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so you had like it just ups the competition. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.